Hello students, today I will discuss new public administration. This topic is also important from BPSC exam perspective. As presently I am addressing section 1. I told in the beginning that for first 3 days I will give for section 1 and last 3 days I will give for section 2. So today last day for section 1 and today I am taking up, you can say, new public administration. New public administration was asked as not once or twice, and there was one full question on new public administration in 53 and 55th BPSC. The question was that new public administration, I tell you, new public administration provides theoretical basis. New public administration is important theoretical foundation in 21st century. Authenticate this statement. Getting point? So this time this topic is, you can say, not very important but important one. So today I will take up this topic, and this topic is basically concerned with one more thing, that it will give basic understanding about latest development in public administration also. So wherever latest developments are concerned, one can go through this topic. Today, new public administration. New public administration is basically American concept. It emerged in 1960s or 70s in response to then existing several socio-economic problems. You know, after Second World War, world scenario changed drastically. Before Second World War, there was reign of colonial rule, there was reign of police state. After Second World War, the colonial state is replaced by, you can say, welfare state notion, and a large number of Asian African countries got independence from colonial rule. Getting point? And now police state is no more existence. Now we talk of welfare state. Welfare state means a state in which public administration requires to play significant role. You know, in 1950s and 60s in America, there were several problems which were causing serious concern for academic circle. So what were problem? First problem was of corruption. Due to welfare state nation, the government expenditure increased significantly, caused corruption. Then there was, you can say, racial conflict between white and black. Then there was university unrest, student unrest, you can point. There was growing unemployment. The futile exercise of Indian-American-Vietnam War has also caused dissatisfaction among American. Then you can say there was Watergate scandal, but that was allegation of corruption charges in defense deal. So as a whole, the society was highly disturbed, dissatisfied with present public administration, and they were expecting public administration should play active role, but unfortunately that public administration trained in the values of Woodrow Wilson ideology was not in position to address contemporary issues. That's why some scholar, particularly young scholar from political science, came forward and tried to revamp the situation that ultimately led to emergence of new public administration. Get a point? New public administration witnessed several important landmarks. So these are important landmarks for you. First you can say Honey Report, second you can say Philadelphia Conference, third you can say Minnebrook Conference. Afterward, the continuance of Minnebrook Conference in 1988, second Minnebrook Conference took place. In 2008, third Minnebrook Conference took place, and it is likely to be fourth Manila Conference in 2028. Get a point? So I will like to discuss all the things, but before going into detail, I must tell you the father of new public administration is Dwight Waldo. However, some scholars consider Frank Germani as also father, but in general it is assumed that George Dwight Waldo is considered father of new public administration. Robert Golumbowski, George Frederickson, Negro are important scholars who contributed in new public administration. Get your point? So what I mean to say, I will discuss one by one all important landmarks. So first of all, I would like to discuss what was Honey Report. In 1966, ASPA, American Society for Public Administration, constituted a panel under the chairmanship of Professor John Honey of Syracuse University to investigate into in details the cause of why public administration lagging behind, why it is not addressing the contemporary issue, why it has become silent spectator to the emerging situation. So it has submitted its report in 1967. So what were major concerns in Honey Report? First of all, Honey Report pointed out that there is lack of confusion with regard to scope of public administration. Subject is not clear which topic come under it or not. So that is very confusion here. Subjects wheresoever the scope of public administration is concerned. Number two, there is lack of resources in academic institutions related to public administration. Number three, there is gap between the theory and practice of public administration. And number four, those who are involved in research and investigation in public administration has no career, no future. That's why in totality, public administration as a subject was not in position to address the contemporary issues. Getting point? So in Honey Report, several recommendations are also given. First recommendation was to define public administration broadly and to include legislative and judiciary part also. Number two, establishment of National Commission for Permission of Public Administration. Number three, generation of resources for promotion of public administration from various sources. Number four, public administration. In public administration, both theory and practice should be interrelated. Getting point? The administrator should be given opportunity to join academic institution to learn the theoretical input, and academicians are also advised to visit the site and see the actual situation. So there should be some continuity between administrator and accommodation of public administration. So these were major recommendations given by Honey Report that was serious, that was very alarming, that caused, you can say, an aggression of Philadelphia Conference took place in 1967. So can you tell me 5 points related to Honey Report? Yes, I can tell you. 5 points. First report was constituted by ASPA under chairmanship of Professor John Honey of Syracuse University. Its task was to investigate into and suggest measures to make public administration more viable and more, you can say, relevant to society. Number three, it found public administration having certain important limitation, like it is not having properly defined wheresoever scope is concerned. It is crunched by the resources also. It is basically lack of communication between academics and practice. Then it has no future for personnel involved in public administration. So there are some important limitations. What is suggestion? To define public administration in broader term, to generate fund for promotion of public administration from various sources. to constitute a national commission for promotion of public administration and to give leadership to it. And number 4, to bridge the gap between public administrator and academics related to public administration. So they have mutual exchange of personnel from one sector to another. So these were some recommendations given by Honey report. In 1967, Philadelphia Conference took place under the chairmanship of James Charles Worth. Get point? This conference was organized to discuss the recommendation of Honey report. Get a point? This conference was organized by U.S. Political Science Council. Get a point? It has given several important recommendations. First recommendation was to make public administration broad and include legislature and judiciary. Number 2, it suggested public administration to demarcate its jurisdiction with political science on the one hand and management on the other hand. Number 3, it suggested to introduce moral consideration in both theoretical and practical aspects of public administration. Number 4, it suggested to incorporate the contemporary social issues in the scope of public administration. Number 5, it has suggested to give training to public officials in professional training institute. So there are some important recommendations in took place here given by Philadelphia Conference 1967. Can you tell 5 points with regard to Philadelphia Conference? Yes, it was organized in 1967 under the chairmanship of James Charles Worth to work on Honey report. Number 1. Number 2, it suggested to make public administration broad by incorporating legislature and judiciary. Number 2. Number 3, it suggested to incorporate moral consideration in theory and public administration, theory and practice of public administration. Number 4, it also suggested to incorporate contemporary social issues and problem to the subject matter of public administration. Number 5, it suggested to demarcate public administration, its jurisdiction from management and political science both. And last, it suggested to give training to public officials in professional institutions. In 1968, Minnebrook Conference took place. First Minnebrook Conference. It was chaired by Dwight Waldo, and around about 40 young participants from political science background participated in it. You can say, their temper was very revolutionary, very angry. They were you can say, a very aggressive approach they had. Getting point? Why they were aggressive? Because they found public administration a silent spectator to the contemporary issues. So they were thinking that public administration should play active role to this problem. That's why they were aggressive. That's why they were revolutionary in nature. Get your point? So what were major recommendations in Honey first Minnebrook Conference? Yes, its major concept first that the politics administration dichotomy should be replaced by public policy approach. Here politics and administration should be included, closely related, and policy formulation, execution, implementation all should be given proper place. Number 2, it has given recommendation to give due importance to public policy implementation because it feels that policy implementation is highly neglected one. Number 3, it has given recommendation to incorporate value consideration in public administration, moral consideration in public administration in both theory and practice. Number 4, it has suggested to right size the government machinery to rid out the unnecessary layer in administrative hierarchy. Number 4, it has emphasized on change rather than on development in public services. Number 5, it has suggested on active and participative citizenry. Getting a point? So there are some important consideration or recommendation in first Middleburg Conference. Can you tell 5 points with regard to first Middleburg Conference? Yes, it was organized by ASPA in 1968 under the chairmanship of Dwight Waldo, having 40 young, aggressive and revolutionary as participants. Getting point? It suggested to replace politics admission dichotomy by public policy perspective. Number 3, it suggested to give emphasis on policy implementation. Number 4, it has suggested to work on change rather than on development. Number 5, it has suggested to have active and participative citizenry. And number 5, it has suggested to incorporate value consideration, moral consideration, and contemporary issues to the public administration in both theory and practices. Getting point? In 1971, 2 books were published on new public administration. First book in 1971 by Dwight Waldo. The name of book was Public Administration in the Times of Turbulence. Getting point? In 1971 also one more book came, that was Towards a New Public Administration, a Middleburg Perspective by Frank J. Marini. Getting point? These books were, you can say, major stock of information with regard to new public administration. And in one more book came in 1980 by George Frederickson. Getting point? So these all development led emergence of new public administration. New public administration has certain anti-goals and certain goals. Anti-goals means the thing which it disapproves, and goals means it tries to strive. So what are anti-goals? Here Robert Golombaski identified 3 anti-goals of new public administration. First, it is anti-positivistic. Anti-positivistic means it is opposite of positivistic. Positivistic means the thing which is existing. Getting point? At that time there was politics administration dichotomy. That time there was deterministic view of mankind. There was, you can say, value neutral definition of public administration. Anti-positivistic means it disapprove all these things. Politics administration dichotomy, deterministic view of mankind, and neutral definition of public administration. Get point? Number 2, it is anti-technical, means it drops the idea of human being as part of machine or cog of machine. So that does not take human being as a rational one. It does not take human being as, you can say, a mechanical one. Number 3, it is hierarchy, anti-hierarchy, means it disapproves hierarchy, it disapproves bureaucracy. So what I mean to say, bureaucracy, hierarchy, deterministic view of mankind, value neutral definition of public administration, politics administration dichotomy were existing during this period, and it has disapproved them. That's why they are called anti-positivistic. And here that is goal, that is positivistic. Positivistic means you have to achieve them, you have to extract them. So first, there is relevance. What is relevance? That public administration should be concerned with societal issues. It should be relevant to society. Whatsoever it is doing, it should have some value for society. Get a point? So this is very important point. Now, are you getting relevant or non-relevant? I am taking classes here. If I am taking or telling something related to the topic, that is called relevant, and I am talking something a part of the topic, nothing relation, not at all related to this topic, then it is called irrelevant. So here it says that public administration should do the work which should have some value for society, some concern for society, some meaning for society. Getting why? Number 2, it should value oriented, value loaded, not value neutral. Value loaded and value neutral. Suppose I am taking your classes and I am just giving my classes without having any intention whether you qualify or not. My objective is just to fulfill my responsibility or do formality. That is value neutral approach. But suppose I take, no, my students should qualify, my students should get good score, I will do whatsoever I can do, I will help them wheresoever they need. That is value loaded approach. Getting what new public administration expect, there should be value loaded. Getting point? Number 3, new public administration expects that public administration should be change oriented, it should be change agent, it should try to remove status quo, because status quo in long run develops vested interest about it, which starts resisting changes. That's why public administration should act as change agent. Number 4, client. It consider that public administration consider individual as client or customer and tries to satisfy them fully. It does not try to give only services but also try to give opportunity to express their own view with regard to services given by public administration. So this is client orientation. Another point, and last but not the least, social equity. It is the major concern of new public administration. In fact, in America, social equity is next to impossible. Why? Because in capitalistic system, there is, Darwin law, and it is, social inequality is common phenomena, because those who are competent, those who are more, you can say, strengthful, or will take a larger chunk of benefit, and those who are weak will be neglected. So social equity is, you can say, nightmare there, and new public administration try to emphasize on that. The relevance, the change, the value, the client, all objectives are intended to achieve social equity. Getting by social equity means public administration should try to remove its social inequality. It should be champion of interest of downtrodden and weaker section of society. George Fredrickson is very radical while saying that the public administration which fails to address the measures taken to correct the condition of minority is likely to be the, you can say the same oppression, likely to be claimed to be same oppression. What I mean to say, the public administration, if it fails to do anything for the of individual, then it can be considered that public administration is equally responsible for their miserable condition, because you are supposed to address the problem, you have mandate, you have resources, you have everything, then why not you are taking care of this thing? If you are not taking care of, means you are also responsible for their misery and downtrodden situation. So this is the point taken by George Fredrickson. So what I mean to say, new public administration has 5 goals. First, relevance; second, change; third, value; fourth, client; fifth, social equity. New public administration came when public administration was facing multiple problems. It was having, you can say, some sort of identity crisis. Getting point? It helped public administration to emerge from the situations and to get a fresh, you can say, orientation. It has replaced the traditional value by new values. Getting point? The equality, the efficiency, economy, status quo orientation, hierarchy, control, these all were discarded by new public administration, and now relevance, value, change, वगैरह, etc. were addressed by new public administration. Getting point? New public administration is basically gave, you can say, foundation to further new emerging public administration. which developed in 21st century public administration. You know, new public administration gave foundation, as I tell you, in 1988. The second Middleborough Conference took place. This took place after 20 years of first conference. What was the objective? The objective was to assess the overall achievement of new public administration in last 20 years and to prepare public administration for forthcoming new challenges and issues. Getting a point? So this was objective. This conference was headed by George Fredrickson, and here there are several scholars from different streams participated, and their approach, their temper was very simple, civil, and they were very moderate and behavioral. They were very pragmatic. They emphasized on constitutional dimension, economic perspective, getting point, then ecological concern, etc. They gave emphasis on rolling back of state, getting point. They gave emphasis on reducing role and function by a state and to give more role and function to market and private sector. They gave emphasis on social capacity building. They also gave emphasis on voluntarism, getting point, and to make public administration a third party role. So these were important recommendations took place in second Middleborough Conference in 1988. Can you point out 5 recommendations of second Middleborough Conference? Yes. First recommendation was to emphasize on constitutional dimension, economic perspective, and ecological concern. Number 1. Number 2, rollback of state. Number 3, marginalizing role and function of public administration, and to give more role and function to private sector and market forces. Number 4, to emphasize on social capacity building. And number 5, work on third party role to public administration. Getting point? The second party role should be given to market or private sector. So this was the thrust in second Middleborough Conference. Getting point? So now new public Middleborough Conference led emergence of new public management in 1992. In 1992, one book written by Ted Gabler and David Osborne, Reinventing Government, published. This led emergence of new public management. New public management is, you can say, reincarnation of public administration in response to new LPG situations. Getting point? Here, public administration tries to visualize individual as customer, individual as client, and to satisfy in proper way. It tries to give more role to market and private sector. It redefined role of public administration and the state with regard to economy and society, and gave more role to market and private sector. The major thrust of new public management was, we are not concerned with more governance, we are concerned with good governance. Getting a point? So this is the basic thing it was emphasizing. The new public management got theoretical foundation from new public administration. There are several similarities, several values which new public administration developed continue in new public management. Whether it incorporates some new technique also. Getting point? In 1990s, witnessed some more development. For third world countries, World Bank given one concept called good governance. In 1990s also, there was emergence of e-governance due to significant development in information communication technology. So all got inspiration and theoretical support from new public administration. New public administration has given more thrust on public administration. Number 1, It tried to demarcate its relation with political science and management. It tried to incorporate several goals and objectives which are relevant to society, and it has also tried to address several, you can say, societal issues. That's why the further development we have totally got inspired from new public administration and its theoretical premises. Getting point? So in 21st century, public administration inherited new public management, good governance and e-governance. All were getting inspiration and theoretical support from new public administration. Getting point? In 2004, again one concept came that is called new public service approach. This approach is modified version of new public management concept. In new public management concept, individual is considered customer or client, which new public service approach disapprove. It says that customer, individual are not customer. They are not basically client. They are valuable citizen, and the services which you are providing them are their right. So that is, it is your obligation, it is your duty to give this duty services to them. Getting point? The new public management is now to be replaced by new public service approaches. Good governance is still very relevant. E-governance is now taking the shape of digital governance, smart governance, cybernetic state concept, and many more. So now I mean to say that in 21st century, whatsoever we have all get inspiration and theoretical support from new public administration. In 2008, one conference took place, third Minerva conference took place in America, that is chaired by Mary Rose O'Leary. That is chaired. It is also equally participated by several scholars from different stream, and it was organized to address public administration to new set of societal issues. There was thrust to define public administration in new way. Means there was thrust to define, to get new definition of public administration. Number two, it has suggested to incorporate several issues in public administration, like you can say the information technology, then you can say LPG perspective, then networking, then you can say corporate social responsibility, gender concern, etc. So new public administration is still, you can say, fountain of spring of all the developments, you can say all the initiatives taken place in 21st century. So what I mean to say, that the new public administration is presently not in, you can say, existence, but its premises, its theoretical foundation, its values are very much getting accommodated in latest development. So you have to address these things in your answer. Getting point? So I will rather request you to take up question which was asked in 2012, 53-55 BPSC. Question was, new public administration is an important theoretical foundation in 21st century. You have to write this answer in two parts. First, new public administration, and second, its impact on further development in 21st century. So I will rather request you go through one book, listen my lecture once, twice, to more than once, one time, and try to write answer. And if you have any difficulty, you can contact me. Okay, all the best. Enjoy.